Hey guys, it's Annalise, and here is my TED Talk on RGC2Y Sex and Resistance. So the first text that I wanted to talk about was Roxane Gay's Bad Feminist, and one of the ideas that I found really interesting from her book was how she talked about how people view feminists as these people who are determined to be angry and upset by things, that even if things got better, they would still find a way to dwell on the negatives. And I think Gay does a good job of voicing that is absolutely not true, that we would be happy to have progress. Women would be happy to accept progress if it came along, and as it continues to come along, we do celebrate the victories and the progress that we have made. We just want to also continue to fight for more and also reflect on the past that women have had and not minimize that and those experiences. So this was one of the main ways that I took sex and resistance into my own life. I read this book called Plucked: A History of Hair Removal, and it kind of talked about how, since the beginning of hair removal products, it's always been a way to kind of control women's appearances and control them financially as they invest more and more money into hair removal, and looking at how it's always been gendered and used to classify people as sexually deviant or criminally, deranged and things. While reading the book, I also decided to stop shaving. And so that was a really interesting experience for me, because I feel like shaving our legs isn't really something we look forward to. It's just kind of something that you're expected to do, whether you want to do it or not. And I, just decided to stop because I'd rather spend my time and money on something else that I actually want to do, when shaving my legs is not one of those things. And it helped me, I think, to really evaluate the way that I decide to present myself, based on kind of the expectations that we set and how they just don't matter at all. And so another thing I found interesting to look at was how Roxane Gay talks about the anger of feminists, and Gay says that that anger is valid and it's necessary and it can be useful in feminism, but it's also not, the only thing that's necessary, and it's also not the only thing that feminists are. Feminists aren't just angry. They're also smart women. They're sad, they're vulnerable. I think Lemonade by Beyonce is a great example of this. She takes us through this whole emotional journey that she's experienced, and it includes loss and sorrow and rejection and anger, but eventually acceptance and redemption and love in the end. So I think Lemonade is a good reminder that, women are many things. So I've never really had an issue speaking about my political views or my ideas in general. My parents and I have always really disagreed. They're kind of on the conservative side, and I don't really lean that way at all. But I've never really labeled myself a feminist publicly unless I'm with my friends. I don't really talk about feminists or feminism or label myself as such, because I was afraid that if I did that, I would just cause people to shut themselves off from listening to me. But I realized kind of through this course that I'm going to hold the ideas that I hold in no matter what. So why not just go ahead and use the label feminist to connect with a larger community? I've used the label feminist as a way to say, hey, I don't really care about what you think of me, be completely unapologetic about myself and my views, and also use it as a way to motivate me to really look into the history and the past and what it means to be a feminist for different people in all areas of the world and of all backgrounds.